Hot 97.5, it's Jax, and I'm so excited, so honored, and privileged to be joined over the phone by Miss North Dakota and now Miss America 2018, the very lovely and incredibly talented Bismarck's very own Cara Mund, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Cara, thanks for joining me today. Of course, it's so good to hear from you again, and not that I have to ask, because I know everybody knows the answer, but how are you?
Oh, my goodness. It's just been a crazy last week. The dream became a reality, and I went from Atlantic City to New York, and I did a media tour in New York, and now I'm currently in L.A., and, I don't think it's fully hit me yet.
It's just phenomenal to see what's happened in the past week and a half. It's just as exciting for us anyway. What does it mean for you to be the first Miss North Dakota to become Miss America?
Yes, well, that night, I just kind of realized that I made history. And there were so many people, after I became Miss North Dakota that, didn't really expect me to become Miss America just because it had never happened. And so, I just kind of proved that, it doesn't matter if it's never happened before or, how many people say that you probably won't become Miss America. If you dream it, you can become it. And that's exactly what happened.
You definitely made it happen, of course. Now, throughout the pageant, that whole competition, what's going through your mind? Because you're going up against so many talented women and, take us through that experience.
Yeah, well, I think one thing is, you spend 2 weeks there before you see the live telecast. And so, we were competing the entire time and, you get really close with the girls and you realize, I think it was within day 2, I was looking around the stage and I was like, oh, like she could be Miss America or she could be Miss America or she could be Miss America. And eventually you realize all 51 could easily be Miss America. And so at that point, it kind of just comes down to judges' preference. And so, although it was a competition, I didn't really feel at any point that, I was competing against them. I was just kind of competing against myself and making sure that, I did it to the best of my ability. I didn't want to walk off the stage and regret something or, wish I would have done my talent different. And I think that's, one of the keys to the reason I won is I just stayed so focused on myself, but just enjoyed the experience along the way and tried to soak in every aspect of it.
Oh, well, it was so phenomenal to watch that. And now the questions they ask in the competition, how do you prepare for those? What's that like?
Yes, this is the first time they did 2 sets of questions. So the first set was, the personality, get to know you set, and I really enjoyed that. And then the top 5 question is like the typical top 5. It's usually a difficult question based on current events. But you're preparing the entire time. You have a, private interview with the judges that's 10 minutes long. And so, the questions that were asked on stage were questions that I thought could easily be asked in my private interview as well. So I think it's just really important that you know what's going on in society and having an opinion about it. And, you never know what you're going to get asked when you're up there. And, I think there's a lot of pressure when you're on national television. And, there's millions of people around the nation watching you. But, you just have to remember it's just a question. You just have to answer the question. There's nothing more to it.
Well, you know that obviously you completely nailed it, of course. Now, I got to say, in the talent competition, that dance routine was phenomenal. And I don't say that lightly either. I am very critical of dance routines. That was amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, I actually choreographed that number, and I did the music arrangement, and then I performed it. So it was almost like 3 talents in one.
See, my friends always say that I can dance anyone under the table. So eventually, when you come back to Bismarck, you and I should have a dance-off. That's what should happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, as many of our listeners are wondering, I'm sure, what's Chris Harrison like in real life? No, I'm just kidding. That's not a real question. No.
It was pretty unique. He knew my first and last name, and after the pageant, he came over, and was, just talking with me and congratulating me, and so it's so unique, and you're going to meet so many people along this journey, and I think one thing that's really important to me is just staying humble and keeping those, that North Dakota personality with me at all times.
Right, exactly. And of course, you also mentioned your fellow Century High classmate, Bismarck's Carson Wentz, in your acceptance speech as well. That was a really cool moment.
Yes. As much as I can do to promote North Dakota, I get to be Miss America, but at the same time, I was Miss North Dakota first. So, I want to stay true to my home state and the people that made me who I am today and supported me up to this level.
What's next for Miss America?
Yes, I'm going to be traveling all throughout the year. So on average, I change locations about every 48 hours. And so, I'll be doing a lot of service this year. I'm going to be, on Wednesday, I'm at the Children's Miracle Network Hospital here in Orange County. And so that'll be, a really unique aspect because Children's Miracle Network is our national platform for Miss America. And then, as stated in the interview we had earlier when I was Miss North Dakota, my personal platform is still Make-A-Wish. And so I get to make, miracles happen and wishes come true all at the same time while being Miss America this year. And then beyond that, any appearance requests where people want Miss America at, we're going to try to make that happen. And, I'm hoping we get some requests in the state so that I can come back more often. And, it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
That's so amazing. And of course, obviously, you're such an inspiration to young girls, especially who want to make that happen for them one day. If you had a message to pass along to them, what would it be?
I think it's really important. It took me 4 years to win Miss North Dakota. And each time I learned a new lesson. And, I never gave up while, I considered it and thinking, oh, I'm never going to be Miss North Dakota. I just kept trying. And so I think that's like the biggest aspect. I want them to know if it doesn't happen the first time, there's always a lesson. You can always learn from it. You can always just come back and be improved. And I think, had I given up, I wouldn't have been Miss North Dakota and eventually Miss America.
Well, Cara, thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy busy schedule to talk with me today. I know it's got to be ridiculous, but I know myself, all of us in Bismarck, all of us in North Dakota, we are so proud of you for everything, and you're so incredibly talented and beautiful and such a sweetheart, too. So thank you so much for joining us today, and it was great to hear from you again.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That is Cara Mund, Miss America 2018, everyone.